Good
How
after-
are we doing, Brian?
Just lucky and happy to be in the next round. Let's face it, being in the next round was all that was important, but there is a lot more to discuss than just being in the next round. It was a awful performance. It's like we sent the Cowboys out to do a professional's job.
Was that like the most embarrassing win that you've ever seen?
One thing I will say on a positive thing about this before, I remember back in the 34 years ago when we won the FA Cup last, we started our FA Cup journey with a appalling 1-0 win away at Blackpool with a Paul Gascoigne free kick and a Paul Stewart header. And we went on to obviously win the thing. Not saying that that means we're doing it this year, but all that matters.
Non-league at the time, or where were Blackpool? What division were they in?
I think they're in. Mate, this is when it was third and fourth before the Premier League. They're definitely in third or fourth division, which would be now what, non-league, so to speak. Either way,
it would be the equivalent position. So basically, we're winning the FA Cup this year. That's what basically what you're telling me.
Like I said, it's lucky for Spurs when the year ends in 5. I mean, the only positive I've taken away from it is A, we're through. And B, it looks like Spurs have got a goalkeeper that can catch set pieces and kick a football. What sorcery is this? We've finally got one that can do both. But it was just an unacceptable performance today, wasn't it?
What do you think was the major problem? Was it the effort of the players? Was it, the pitch was very bobbly? It looked like it wasn't in great condition, that pitch. Was it just the tactics were not allowing us to get through Tamworth? Was it the selection? What do you think was the big problem?
I think, first of all, what we got to do is give a lot of respect and credit to Tamworth, who would have had a objective to say, listen, just don't let them score early. Don't let them get that first. Just stay in the game as long as we can. Be compact, do what you can, and the longer it stays 0-0, the more and more we have a chance. And they stuck to that to the letter, didn't they? They really did. And fair play to them. But Tottenham Hotspur or any Premier League team should have the answers to the questions that are being thrown at them. There was just shocking performances, and I don't understand why, when we got I spoke to you guys before about it, Will Lancashire gets minutes away at Galatasaray. Was this not the perfect game to say, if Mikey Moore's having a game, Lancashire have a game? Archie Gray and Dragusin, who have got to be our central defenders for the foreseeable, for obvious reasons. Why is not Alfie Dorrington come on? We get told that this is Project Youth, and a couple of years these players are going to be something. But then when they have the opportunity to play, they don't get the chance to do so. And it's just a shame that we had to send the big boys out to get the job done.
Brian, regarding Timo and Lancashire, I mean, we're trying to put in crosses in the box in the first half, and Timo's not exactly one to rise up and muscle in and header and win a header and put it in the back of the net. I mean, it just didn't make sense with the tactics and with the way we were playing to have Timo as the number 9.
But the worst thing about it, Ben, is week in, week out, we have Dominic Solanke up there who demands and wants those crosses.
Yeah.
And don't put them in. Then when he isn't playing, we start putting them in. I mean, Timo Werner, I don't think I have seen a player so low on confidence in my entire life. Honestly, the only one I can think of was, who was that, Adi Akinbaye, when Leicester had him, and he just
what about
could not
Soldado?
Score for Toffee.
Soldado was pretty low on confidence when we had him. I mean, he
So
was
there you go.
proper beating himself out, wasn't he? Yeah.
We're the confidence killers. But Soldado was, we bought him and didn't have a striking partner to play alongside him, which is what he had at Valencia. But Timo Werner, that one-on-one, you've got to take. You've got to score that. But he's just a woeful footballer, isn't it? And confidence is a major thing with him, as we can clearly see. But you give him minutes, he's not gaining the confidence. You drop him out and bring him on to ease the pressure on him. He's not fit for purpose at Tottenham Hotspur. Yet we continue to go with him. It's just such a shame. It's such a shame. But like we said, Tamworth caused us issues, those throw-ins. Simeon, I heard you at half-time because I was dipping in and out when you said, if we lose this, you'd be Ange out. Listen, a lot of this performance needs to fall on the manager and the players. A lot of it, because we weren't entertained, that's for damn sure.
I would say all of it. I mean, there's not.
Yeah.
This is all on the manager and the players. There's no one else is involved in this
Yeah,
one.
no, you're right, Ben. Let me rephrase that. You're right. It is totally on the manager and the players. And like I said, we've got a North London derby coming up, and these players have been forced to play. Or not forced, but you know what I mean, had to come on to get the job done. I don't know what Alfie Dorrington and Lancashire must be thinking about when we're going to get minutes. The Lancashire one really puzzles me. And it's I listen. We're in the next round of the. That's the best thing. We are in the next round of the tie of the FA Cup, which is all that matters. Tamworth deserve a lot of respect and a lot of credit for what they did. And then our fitness and ironic, I'm using the word fitness for Tottenham. Our fitness got us through, really, didn't it? Because they started to tire, and then we started to take advantage of it. But it shouldn't have got to this. It shouldn't have got to extra time.
Brian, is any chance that Levy was in the stands today, wasn't he? Is any chance he was looking at Werner toiling away out front and thought, you know what, let's just pay that extra money from Warney and get him in before the derby, because I can't be watching that Timo Werner performance anymore.
Mate, he should be looking at a lot more than just that wing. He should be looking at a lot more of that wing. And what I heard you guys mention it, and it's all over social media as well. That word has come up again: leadership. There are no leaders in that. Even if it was a fully fit team, we have got no Graham Roberts, Steve Perrymans, all these captains and players that demand and have standards. There's just none of it. There's just.
But you know what, Brian? We shouldn't need that against this level of opposition. We shouldn't need that.
Unfortunately, we do though. Unfortunately, that's where it's come to. These players come in and think that it's Tamworth. We're 6 divisions below or whatever it was. And I think Simeon said, how many places, Simeon, will we
96.
above them? And they think, okay, we can just stroll along and do this. And you obviously can't.
It happens way too often, though, doesn't it? It does happen way too often against the level opposition of Tamworth are, but, you know, teams at the bottom of the Premier League, teams in the Championship regarding FA Cup performances over the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, this is just way too often that this kind of thing happens.
Ben, how many times have we spoken, or I've come on here with you and I've said, when the going gets tough, the weak go hiding?
Yeah.
And it's happened again today. It's, you know what? Someone said to me, it's very often, or sorry, it's not very often that you're actually embarrassed by a 3-0 scoreline.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, like I said, the most important thing is we're in the next round.
Yeah.
The most important thing is we move on. We're still in the cup. But there are loads of questions regarding that performance and how it's deemed acceptable to put in that type of performance. And we move on. We move on from there and just hope we get... Do you know what? I actually hope we get a Premier League team in the next round so we can actually put in some fight.
It's madness because you look at our 3 Carabao Cup games against Liverpool, Manchester United and Man City. I mean, those were all more convincing performances, anywhere near close to... you know, putting it on the opposition than this. Like, we had more chances in those games than this game.
Yeah, mate, you're right. And I have to say one thing, Ben. I disagree with what you just... I think Archie Gray had a good game.
Do you think so?
I just felt like...
I do agree. I think Archie Gray in the first half, I think, did well, but I felt like he was losing the ball way too often. He just kept passing it out of play, and it's just very frustrating.
Many of them. But you look... I don't know if we had the same commentary as you. We had Jonathan Pearce, so I don't know if you had the same. This apparently was Dragushin's 18th consecutive game, and that's with him being ill. I don't know how many Archie's played now consecutively, but needs must at the moment, apparently, even though you've got an Alfie Dorrington, and then you bring Jed Spence on to play at centre-back over at Dorrington. I mean, I feel so sorry for these young kids. I feel so sorry for them. Project Youth, you're not going to get a start or a look-in at all.
Yeah.
Brian, in terms of looking ahead of to Wednesday, has today's performance, has that made you think about anything in terms of team selection, who definitely should or shouldn't be in the team?
Timo Werner should be left in M17, or wherever he's residing, whatever postcode that is, just stay there. I don't know, mate. I mean, I've got Arsenal on the other screen, but I missed the starting lineups. I don't know how many they've rested.
They're playing a pretty strong team, I can see.
Okay, so hopefully that will go the distance as well. to assist us. It's going to be a tough game, isn't it? They're not on the best of form. I just hope we go in there and put in a performance. As I said when I went with you to the 2-2 with both of you, all I care about is when we go in the Emirates is just put in a goddamn performance.
It looks as though Arsenal got an injury here
Yeah,
because
it's
Raheem
Jesus, I
Sterling's coming on in the first half.
Who's the injury to?
I think Jesus. He went
Gabriel
down before.
Jesus.
He went down before.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, let's just go. If you go to Arsenal and you put in a performance, rather than some of the abject performances where it looks like we haven't even haven't laid a glove on them, just go there, put on a performance. What will be, will be. But when I was on the fan show with Marlon and Ash after Liverpool, they said, would you take a second leg win against Liverpool or result to go into the final over a win against Arsenal? Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yes, I bloody well will. So, like I said, the league is irrelevant to me really this season because it was just a busted flush from the start. And the cups are where it's at. And we're in the semi-final of one with 1 foot in the final and into the next round of another one.
It's mad. If we go through in all the cups like, all the way, we could potentially have, depending on where we finish in Europa League, but if we finish, let's say, outside the top 8 in Europa League, could potentially have another 18 games this season on top of the league. That's another half season.
Well, you know, with
Mental,
that, Sim,
isn't it?
you look at that and you've got to think as a football club, if that is the case, we need strength in numbers. We need to attack. You know, this I saw Sean put out a tweet from Swiss Ramble saying we can spend £250 million this January and still be within PSR, FFP, B&Q, ABC, all of those things that we have to stay in accordance with. We'll go and do it. We'll go and do it. If it doesn't. Go on, Ben. Sorry.
No, you finish what you're saying, mate.
I was just about to say it doesn't matter if this is a tough window and it's hard to get players out. You've got the money to do it. You can pay the wages. Go do it.
Yeah.
Show that you mean business. You're within the thresholds of everything. Go and do it.
Just last question, talking about transfers. How much do you reckon it would take for Zara to make a good offer for Timo Werner? Because I think he'll fit in their team right well.
I've heard there is tough competition from Primark. So Primark might go ahead and be willing to pay because of the amount of staff they hire. But yeah, listen, he's going to come in for a lot of flack, isn't he? And deservedly so. But like you said, Ben and Sim, there are many, many other players that deserve the criticism that's going to come their way. But most importantly, we are in the 4th round and we move on.
Absolutely. So, Brian, thank you so much for coming on, my brother.
Always a pleasure, boys. See you later
Have a
on.
good rest of your day.
And yourself, guys.